Hey guys, welcome for this month's theme, audio and music in Deliver Us the Moon. First, in the process of audio, it's important that we set a tone and a vibe. And I remember at the beginning, Paul, my own brother, was doing this in the games of KeokeN. However, later on in the process, we started to realize that just making music and sound for games actually involves a lot more technique eventually. So randomly walking into the office was Sander eventually during a playtest, and Sander proven to be an aspiring audio designer within games. So I took a chance with him and said like, well, let's grow together then. So the cool thing about Deliver Us the Moon now is concept actually coming from Paul itself. He made sure, together with Sander, that the game is, the sound in the game is extremely important to the whole experience. And I would be lying if that would be a part. I think it's actually half or even more of the experience. So if you ever think to put down your headphones or turn down your sound, I would not recommend that, because it would lose a lot of potential in the experience you about to experience. So these guys can talk a lot, just like I do, but these can really talk a lot about this area because it's so important and so beautiful. I think you just watch and listen to their expertise because they have a lot of things to say. Enjoy.
So I'm Paul Deetman, I'm co-owner of the company and also specialize in trailer music.
And I'm Sander van Zanten, and I do all the in-game audio within Deliver Us the Moon, so all sound effects and all music. And today we are to talk about all things audio within the game,
yes,
and outside the game, and talk a little bit about ourselves.
There you go. So guys, what inspired you into music, audio engineering? What inspired you guys to get into that? How did you find music? So it started actually as a rebellious way. I was really into electronic and techno music. So I was DJing when I was a young kid, and that inspired me to go a little deeper. So first of all, just a DJ, just the DJ decks, the wheels of steel, and after it...
also a breakdancer, right?
Also a breakdancer, that's right, yeah. I could,
a man of many talents.
I was like the backflip guy, and especially those sounds, that's really true. That's were a very groovy sound that got me into the rhythm. And I started to communicate with music a lot. And first was dancing, after was making it, and after DJing, and after that, so I started to create my own.
Okay, well, as for me, music has always played a very important part in the family, my family. My parents used to be a lot into music, well, they still are. My brothers are, and so it was natural for us to all pick up music in some way or another. And as a child, I was always fascinated by stories, fantasy stories mostly, so stuff like The Lord of the Rings. I would also always stick with me on holidays. I used to read The Hobbit every year and the Silmarillion and whatnot, all the hardcore Tolkien stuff. And at some point, the passion for music and fantasy stories came together in the games I started playing. So Fable and the Warcraft games, Guild Wars even, all these fantastic games that have such gorgeous music. And at some point I decided to give it a shot myself and see if I could create music that others find beautiful and inspiring. So here I am still trying to get there.
That's really beautiful, Sander. And then guys, when composing your music or trying to create music, whether it be for a trailer or for the game, where do you get your inspiration from for those kinds of things when you're making a musical composition? Does it depend on the theme of the game, or and how do you find that?
We started in the beginning of the process with like a palette of, which was very nice, but was a nice fit. So you use a lot of references within the musical realm with other existing music.
Interstellar was a huge influence for.
Actually, and we changed it. So in the middle, we changed like the whole tone of the whole game.
Yeah. It used to be much more almost fairy tale-ish.
Yeah, a little bit more mysterious.
A lot more orchestral stuff, and we've kind of shifted that to more piano heavy, more solitary music, I think.
I think we went for the more minimal road, but then with the deeper hits. So minimal music doesn't mean that it's not emotional in a way, but it's just a little less harmonies, but it's trying to go straight for the core, if that means anything.
I think it's much more humble than it used to be. More humble, and that's I think that makes it possible to reach the audience's hearts more directly.
And for trailer music, which is actually a little different than the music within the game, because this is its main reason is to get your attention real fast. And most of the time it's a little bit more epic, because you want to capture attention in, let's say, a 2-minute trailer or like a 1.5-minute trailer. You need to go fast, so this is a little different, but it needs to be in the same tone as what we were trying to portray here.
That's true. Yeah, the trailer is a very, I guess, fast-paced piece of footage, action, both in video and emotion, and music and emotion. Whereas in the game, we're trying to establish a very solitary and isolated experience, and I guess that long stretched sequences of music are well, maybe for that.
Maybe you can see this in a way that the trailer music is a little bit more dense, and it's more stretched out over the whole game. So you have more time for this whole dynamic way of storytelling within the language of music.
Yeah. So now that we've talked about your inspiration, what's the actual process to make the music, whether it be for the trailer or for the game? And that includes sounds as well as composition. What's your process, both of you?
Okay, so for in-game music, it's funny actually, because you first, of course, look at the game itself, see what the environment is like, what the level designers want, what the game designers want, what narrative wants also. You look at the intended atmosphere of the game, and with that in mind, you actually start completely blank. So you have that in the back of your head, but musically, it's still a blank, at least for me. And then I just start improvising, basically.
Actually, there's another difficult challenge, because space, especially Deliver the Moon, it doesn't have sound there. So
yeah, it's a very empty place.
That's like a challenge. So when you're making games, of course, does it need to be very realistic, or does it need to be cool? So
yeah, well, we're trying to get a balance in between there. So we're not completely silent within the void of space, or the vacuum of space. We do have sound over there, but we did alter it in such a way that it feels like you're out there, like you're in an area or a space without any pressure.
Yeah. And of course, because there are no sounds, there is some more room to listen to the music and get that message across as well.
Yeah.
So it's like more stories going on. So the things you see, the visuals, but then also the music. And I guess at those points when there is no sound, then there's more room for the musical language.
Yeah, that's when it can really emerge out of the emptiness of the, of the void, I guess.
And by the way, are you portraying the character more, or do you try to portray the environments a little more within?
The environment, I approach it from the perspective of the environment, I guess, not so much as from the character's perspective, since I think that the game is more about the environment trying to...
Because it's not what everybody knows, so you can write music in different perspectives. So you can see it from the realm of the environment, or you can see it in the perspective of the astronaut, for example, and then you have to think about his feelings and what he's thinking about when he is on these lonely roads.
I think there's a very tight connection between the character you're playing and the environment.
You did really well in that.
And the environment, I like to think, is a character on itself. Yeah. Something that was humbled, perhaps. Something that used to have high hopes, something that has been disappointed, but still, I don't know, cherishes a little bit of light in itself. So we're trying to get a mixed sense of, I guess, awe and at the same time also danger, since, well, it is a dangerous environment after all.
It's well said. So this thing of mystery, but also this thought of feeling, because he's like the astronaut, the astronaut is, of course, thinking on itself as well. And if you can hear that within the music, which is very, very nice, it gives you a deeper dynamic story of the person inside the helmet.
Yeah, music is a very direct influence on how players perceive the game, perceive the story, the character, the environment. So we need to watch out that the music conveys the right clues and the right emotions to the player.
Okay, I've got a couple of Q&A questions for you guys. What did you guys study?
I studied at SCE Amsterdam. It's like an audio engineering school. Finished it off with a bachelor. After that, I wanted to continue with like the master on music, but then I was already within this business, and it's like, okay, this is even better. Just doing is better than just continual learning, I guess. And the continual learning is always within the business you started.
I've considered many things, among which business administration, history, archaeology, and I ended up doing nothing related to music, which is philosophy, although in a sense it is connected to everything.
I have to say,
so.
I think it's very, very much connected. But this is my personal belief.
It is.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, in daily philosophical practice, you're not really involved with music there, at least not on campus.
True.
But yeah, philosophy, I did that for 4 years. And after that, I went into a hermit mode and just went full on music, I guess. I did do a course on game audio at the SAE in Rotterdam.
Wow.
A few years back, which was very informative, learned me a lot about FMOD, which is software we use a lot within the game. Actually, it controls all the audio within our game. And everything we do sound related goes through that audio engine. And the stuff I learned at the SAE was really, really helpful.
Oh, awesome.
All right, and I don't know if you guys answered this before, Paul. You might have, Sandra. I don't think you did. But how did you get started, like in the industry? Like, what was the spark?
Actually, for me, it was after my school. I already was busy with this DJ, portraying this DJ career. But after it, I met a guy who was really big with trailers, and I was like, that is cool. I want to dive into this more film music stuff. And I tried, and actually I was really bad at the beginning. The guy told me as well, like, yeah, this is cool, but you kind of suck. And that's where you start just improving yourself, and he believed in me, and then he trained me as his apprentice. And eventually I got some skills with what he learned me. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm happy he gave me that chance.
It's cool that if you get to learn the right people, they will help you further down the road. And even if you're not as good as you're supposed to be at first, they can help you get there.
I guess it's learning like every language. It's, if you want to learn a language, it's about doing. And also, you need some people that help you to even get the culture even more. So you know the slang talk of the language you're trying to speak.
And execution is everything, as 100%. With all things in life.
Yeah.
So, and these people, you know, they help you get there, I guess.
Yes.
As for me, once I was done studying philosophy and was tired of all sorts of academic stuff, I just went full on into music. I just locked myself up and started writing music all the time. And that went on for a while, and I emerged from my cave and started to participate in game jams like Ludum Dare, Global Game Jam, and some others. And after a while, I somehow came across this message that the guys from KeokeN were spreading on Facebook. They were looking for
you were actually
testers for another project that KeokeN was working on at the time. I was, Horrent, a horror game that some of you might have heard about before.
We were still working on Horrent at that point?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a public beta tester there, which was fun. And at the time, I knew that you were doing the game audio there. So when I introduced myself, I said, okay, so I do music, but I know you have a music guy, so I'm not gonna...
So maybe that's also good to know for people, so they can say, like, so why do you not do the music if it's like, if you're a co-owner of the company? Actually, it took so many tries. So for Horrent, I did a lot of music. And we ended up not using anything of it, so this is like we shelved this project. So for the next project we were saying, like, okay, because I'm wearing many hats here, we need to do something different. So then we already met you as a playtester. It's like, maybe we should do this with Sander. and he was even knowing more about FML than me. It's like maybe this is the right move to put him completely on it, and then I could focus on different things of this business.
Yeah. I felt guilty at first for taking your place. I mean,
No,
that's what it felt like. But I think it worked out pretty well. I mean, you have so many other things to do here within the company that is crucial to what we do, that I'm kind of glad that I have, I don't know, sort of relieved you from
It is
that
very
part
good. It was a very conscious decision to say like, okay, we need somebody who is completely focused on this, and not like half. And you did.
And I'm glad you guys made that decision so early on in the project. It's not at all uncommon for audio folks to only get hired near the end of a project, and that is a terrible, terrible thing, because things will need to be rushed at such a high pace that.
So do you like that? Do you like to be involved from the beginning of a process?
Oh yeah.
Because you saw like all the beta types of Deliver Us the Moon, and it went from this quite cool experience to a very, very beautiful one.
It did. It was. Well, okay, so it's fascinating to see the project develop, but other than that, it's also very useful, both for me as the audio designer, but also the rest of the project team, just to have audio involved at the start of a project. For example, the things we've been able to do is set up all sorts of systems that allow us to control audio dynamically and efficiently, which would have taken a lot of time to set up otherwise. I mean, it did take a lot of time to set up, but we have had the time to do that. If we would have had to do that now, that would have been terrible. Terrible.
Okay. Do you guys have a favorite kind of music?
More simple question.
More simple question.
That is the hardest question you've asked so far.
Okay, well, we got 40 minutes. But for people like to scale things in little parts. But I still love electronic music, of course. I love classical music.
Would you say that all music has something to give? All kinds?
I guess you prefer one style a little bit more than the other.
Sure.
So it's about languages. So do you prefer French? Do you prefer English? Do you prefer Spanish? For example, this is also, you can compare it a little, I guess.
Yeah, I guess all sorts of music are equal to each other, objectively speaking, and then everybody has a subjective preference into what music works for him.
Which segues me into this next question.
Oh, here we go.
Did you say segue?
That's right, that's what I said.
Okay.
It's a verb now.
Yes, it means to toe it in there.
Yeah, no, I got it.
You know, you saying music, do you think that music is a language, and then when you guys hear each other's music, do you, he's laughing because we talked about this last night, do you guys think that you can maybe hear each other's like style a little bit in there? Do you see things in each other's music that maybe a regular person wouldn't see?
I think we both have a different approach of speaking the language, which is called music. I think we understand each other's music. We both have a different approach, but different doesn't mean better or worse.
Sure.
It's
just a different dialect.
Yeah, I guess we have a different dialect. I think we are quite close with a lot, but also we have our differences. But it doesn't mean that it's bad or very good. It's just different. It's a different dialect, which is. Yeah, but what can you say about that?
Do you agree with that?
Well, I do agree with that. It's just that we have been doing this for years now, so we have, I guess, more knowledge and experience of musical structures and whatnot. Yeah. So we are able to see more details and more intricacies of whatever music comes our way, and so that means that, I guess, it makes us some sort of linguist of music.
Yeah, but I guess
to
so.
Some extent.
If there were no words and we were just talking with music, so I will do a question, you will do an answer. I guess we can do it a little.
We could do. Well, music is a really funny language because it allows us to say so many fundamental things, but then it falls short of very basic practical stuff. So with music, you would never be able to explain how to assemble a chair or something. I don't know.
No, that's fine.
Because it's a different sort of information.
That's going to be our next game, actually. Having you compose a
chair
piece.
assembler.
I guess you're right. It's a different frequency of what you are trying to portray, and it is not saying how to assemble. It's not saying how to assemble a chair or like an IKEA closet or something. I'm not sure. I'm not even. Maybe we should try that actually.
Maybe we could. What if we could?
So you don't have like a roadmap.
We would shake the foundations.
Yeah.
And do you guys have a favorite composer that you think is really talented?
I have to say, a very cliche one.
And also a game that you think has great audio.
I love what Hans Zimmer is doing. For me, it's a little bit more minimalistic, but very. He always knows exactly how to portray the core emotion. which is very beautiful to me. Maybe a cliche thing because he's one of the most known composers out there.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's true. Hans Zimmer is a wonderful composer. I really enjoyed his work of Interstellar.
Yeah.
I'm not very fond of his older work. There was a time where I was a young, rebellious, aspiring composer, and I would fight against the established Hans Zimmer power.
Yes, of course.
But that's because I only, I guess I only really knew his Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, and that really didn't appeal to me. But then once I heard Inception and The Dark Knight Rises and Interstellar, that stuff was great. So I'm also pretty much into Hans Zimmer now.
The Nolan era of Hans, yeah. And what about?
But I do have a rich background I'm very fond of the Blizzard composers, Derek Duke, Russell Brower, Neil Cree, and I'm missing a bunch of guys. Jason Hayes, Gareth Coker, who made the music for Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm really into his work.
Oh, and I have to say, Machinarium, Thomas Dvorak. Oh, you have the real pronunciation. So maybe I could say it in music, but not in language. Different dialect, but. No, he did something beautiful. It was jazz, electronics mixed with, it was actually a very funny thing to portray, like a 2D side scroller.
Yeah, his music is really organic.
Yeah.
Have you played Summerrost?
Yeah, Summerrost as well.
Yeah.
It's from the same makers.
Yeah.
But they did something very interesting and also a little risky with the music. And sometimes if you do these risky moves with, maybe it's not the right fit exactly, but then it's even like more eccentric in a way.
Yeah.
So it, I like that.
Definitely.
Also, of course, the Journey.
Austin Wintory.
Yeah. Also a very good one.
Austin's great.
Guys, thank you so much for doing this with us, and it was a real pleasure. Please say goodbye to everybody out there, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
See you around.
Cheers.
And now, Paul, what can you say about Licky? Oh, actually, I was curious. I've heard that you make an incredible Venusaur face. Would you mind?
So this is like, this is gonna be next. So I was saying. So go check the beginning of Pokemon again, and you see Charizard. He's this amazing fire. blasting, and you have Venusaur. Like, what is he doing? And this is up to you. So if you are watching Pokemon,
Please, we don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, before you were saying that you could actually do a backflip. Now, have you ever been to a party where there was a big circle around you and you did a backflip? It's a personal question because it's always been a dream of mine. I'm not even kidding.
You asking me if I did that?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Now I hate you even more.
Also, I did it so you have like two people were holding my legs.
Sure.
And then two boys throw me in front, but then it went a little too far, so I fell very hard on my head within this group of breakdancers. And people were like, oh shit!
Did this happen in London?
No, in London.
Okay. So on glass.
What game?
We keep talking.
This is a longer one, you know.
You can cut away.
We're sorry.
Okay.
No, we like this.
The cool parts. Okay.
We like this. Yeah. What? That's amazing. Okay, so. Oh.
Here we go.
Yep.
And then you have to cut a lot of footage.
Don't worry, we'll have plenty of footage.
That's why I'm here.
Sorry?
That's why I'm here.
That's right.
That's right.
And thank you for that, Charlene.
Yeah, that's great.
That is great. It's great to have that. You have the beautiful questions, mister.
Beautiful Mr. Jody.
Audio engineering, right?
Here we are.
Alright. Yeah, it's gotta load. It's really annoying. Where is it?
Whoa, you're not really prepared, Jordy.
No, I have it.
What the heck?
What's going on? Did you mess with
Always the
document?
same shit.
No.
How come I don't have it here?
Our time is very valuable. What are you
Please,
doing?
how come it's not here? Seriously.
No.
I don't know either. Oh, now it's loading. Alright.
What the heck?
That's weird.
Technology.
It's okay.
I immediately blame her. I'm a dick.
You are.
What'd you do? Still need to do
20
that.
minutes ago.
I don't know if it cut just now.
No, it's okay. It was
Is it
still
recording?
running.
Alright, so yeah, so that's random.
It was still running when they answered the question.
You guys went so long, it just said no more, please,
No more.
no more.
It's done.
Yeah, so
No.
you were saying about London, you broke your ankle or something?
No, I dislocated my shoulder because it was actually a few years ago when I was breakdancing actively, but then I thought like, yeah, I can still do it. Couldn't do it.
And Sandra, you know, do you have any of these wild stories as well, where maybe you've broken a bone doing a backflip at a party, or
Did you break bones?
Actually, never. No, I'm physically quite
neither have I.
unharmed. Ever, I did got hit by a truck almost once.
Whoa!